It's time for Rabbi Minkowicz's weekly Torah lesson. Here with his spiritual perspective and insight, Rabbi Minkowicz.
Welcome to this week's Torah lesson. This week's Torah portion is Parsha Vayigash. The question of the week is, how can we live a happy life? So in this week's Torah portion, we learn about Joseph and Benjamin finally meeting. And this is a very, very emotional moment. They haven't seen each other for many years. And these were the only two that were brothers from the same mother, Rachel. They meet up, and the Torah tells us what happened was they cried on each other's neck. And the question is asked, why did they cry on each other's neck? They should have cried. And commentaries tell us, because since they were Jacob's sons, they were the tribes, they had prophetic power, and they saw that things that were going to happen to their descendants in the future. So Joseph saw about the temples that were built in the section of Israel in the land of Benjamin, and he cried for the destruction of the temple. Benjamin saw the tabernacle was going to be in the section of Joseph in Israel and Shiloh, the destruction of that, and he cried. So the question is asked, why did they each cry on each other's necks? Why didn't they cry for their own destruction? So the Rebbe explains a fascinating there as follows. Because we know that where was the Beit HaMikdash built? So it says when it came to the blessings of Benjamin and Joseph, it says Ben Seifav Shachen. It was not all the way on top, but it was between the shoulders, which is the neck. What does it mean, the neck? Because we know that the highest place in Israel is the temple, but there's something a drop higher. And that is something which is called Me'ein Eitim, a certain spring well, which is a little higher, and this is a little lower. In other words, the temple, as great as it was something higher than it. In other words, the same thing also with our life on a spiritual level. The highest part that we have is our head, and the part that drop lower is our neck. What does that resemble? That means like this. The source from where the temple comes from, that can never get destroyed. The source of the temple never gets destroyed. The temple, which is in between the shoulders, which is, so to speak, on the neck place, that can be destroyed. What does that mean in our lives? Our mind, the source of our soul never gets disconnected from God. We always know what's right. The problem is in the neck. What does the neck resemble? The neck resembles the connection between what we know as the truth to the way we live our life and the way we feel. And that all takes place where? In the neck. That means if there's a healthy flow of energy from our mind to our heart to our body, then we live a balanced life. We live a life based on what we know is the truth. And we have a great life. But what happens if there's a blockage? So the mind doesn't go blank because the mind knows what's right. And the heart wants to live. The problem is in the message that's going from the mind to the heart, which gets stuck in the neck. That's where all the problems are. Now, what happens when it's not flowing? So then you have to meditate, you have to pray, you have to do mitzvot, you have to be happy anyway, and that allows it to pierce through from the mind to the heart. So the reason why they cried on the neck, because the neck is the place where that's where the problems all start and all end, and that's where the solution comes from. If you're able to open up the neck where it's flowing properly, then you'll be able to live a great life. So the answer to the question, how can you live a great life? To make sure that the connection between the mind and the heart is opened, then the proper messages from the mind and from your soul will go to your heart, and you'll live a great and wonderful life. Thanks for joining us. This week's Torah lesson is dedicated in the memory of Baruch ben Aryeh Leib and Shlomo ben Yosef. May their souls be elevated by the Torah we're studying in their memory. For more information, please see our website.